All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about the book Make Time, and more importantly, how you can use its ideas to stop just reacting to your day and start actually designing it with some real intention.
So let me ask you something. Think back to last week. Go on, really think. What stands out? If it's all kind of fuzzy, like a dream you can't quite remember, well, you're definitely not alone. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about, how to clear up that blur. The first big reason for this blur is something the authors call the busy bandwagon. And it's so true, isn't it? It's like this invisible pressure, this cultural belief that if you're not constantly busy, you must be doing something wrong. We wear busy like it's a badge of honor, and man, we all feel that pull to jump on. And okay, let's say you do manage to step off that bandwagon for a minute. Well, that's when the second villain shows up, infinity pools. And just think about it for a second. Your social media feeds, Netflix, the news, they are literally designed to never ever end. They are bottomless pits of content, and they are absolute masters at sucking you in and pulling you away from what you really wanted to do with your time. So you've got these two massive forces just constantly yanking at your attention. What do you do? How do you even begin to fight back? Well, the great thing about this book is that the answer isn't some crazy complicated productivity system. It's actually a really simple but powerful shift in focus. It's all about creating one single daily highlight. And that is the antidote to the blur. And the psychology behind why this one little trick works is actually pretty fascinating. See, our brains don't remember our days like a boring, continuous security camera video. Nope. It's much more like a highlight reel from a sports game. Our brains latch onto the peak moments, the most exciting or emotional or meaningful parts, and everything else just kind of fades into the background. Here's a great example. A trip to Disneyland. You know how it is. You spend most of the day in long, hot lines, you pay way too much for greasy food, there are kids screaming everywhere. But what's the one thing you remember weeks later? It's that one single moment of pure joy, like getting totally soaked on Splash Mountain with your daughter. That one peak moment makes the whole day worth it. It redeems everything else. And that's the crucial difference right there. You can have one of those blur days where you answer 100 emails and run 20 errands. You're super busy, but by tomorrow, you won't remember any of it. Or you can have a highlight day, a day where you create just one big win, one moment of joy. And that's the day you'll actually remember. Okay, so this whole highlight thing sounds great in theory, right? But the big question is, how do you actually choose one? Out of everything you have to do, what gets to be the highlight? Well, thankfully, there's a really simple framework for that. It really comes down to asking yourself one of three questions each morning. First, what's the most urgent thing on my plate? This stuff with a hard deadline that just has to get done. Or second, what would bring me the most satisfaction? Maybe it's that side project you've been wanting to work on forever. And third, what will bring me the most joy? And this one's important. It's about doing something just for the fun of it with zero pressure to be productive. The actual process is super simple. You just jot down a few ideas, a might-do list. Then you just trust your gut. Pick the one that feels right for today. But here's the most critical step, the one you can't skip. You have to actually open your calendar and block out 60 to 90 minutes for it. Seriously, treat it like the most important meeting of your day. All right, so you've picked your highlight, you've blocked out the time in your calendar, awesome. But now comes the hard part. The real battle begins actually protecting that time from all those distractions we talked about. This isn't about just hoping for the best. You need a proactive defense. Now, the book has tons of different tactics you can use, but we're just going to focus on three of the most powerful ones. And the key thing to remember is that these aren't about gritting your teeth and using willpower. Nope, they're about changing your environment to build a wall between you and your biggest distractions. Tactic number one is called send-only email. And the goal here is to break that addictive cycle of constantly checking your inbox on your phone. The setup is pretty cool. You can still send emails from your phone whenever an idea strikes, but any replies get automatically forwarded to your main inbox, which you only check on your computer. So no new messages popping up on your phone means no temptation to get sidetracked. Okay, next up, make those infinity pools really hard to get into. The whole idea is to add friction. So you delete the distracting apps from your phone. You log out of everything. You use a super complicated password that you don't save. Why? Because that little bit of effort forces you to pause for a second and ask yourself, wait, do I really want to be doing this right now? And this last one, this might be my favorite.
It's so beautifully simple and decisive. It's called the Internet Kill Switch. All you need is one of those cheap little vacation timers you can get at any hardware store. You plug your router into it, and boom, you can physically, automatically cut the power to your Wi-Fi. It makes it literally impossible to get sucked down an internet rabbit hole in the evenings. So imagine setting that timer to just turn off the internet every night from, say, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Just like that, you've reclaimed your entire evening. No more mindless scrolling. Now you have time for reading, for hobbies, for actually talking to people. The best part, it takes willpower completely out of the equation. The decision is already made for you. So, let's pull all this together. What's the big takeaway here? At the end of the day, make time isn't about cramming more stuff into your schedule or being more productive. It's about something much deeper. It's about making sure your days actually count. So here it is, your new daily plan. It's just 3 simple steps every single day. 1. Pick one highlight, something urgent, satisfying, or joyful. 2. Block out 60 to 90 minutes for it in your calendar. And 3. Use a few of these tactics to protect that time like a fortress. That's it. That is the entire system. And that really brings us to the only question that matters now. Because, look, it's one thing to understand all this. It's another thing to actually do it. So I'll leave you with this. What's it going to be? What will be your highlight tomorrow?